Over Memorial Day weekend, during the Rolling Thunder event, an injured soldier with dark skin tone took his place in the heart of the street, holding an unwavering salute for 3 continuous hours. As this heartfelt tribute unfolded, a group of bikers arrived and carried out an astonishing gesture beneath the scorching sun. Veteran Lieutenant Alex Carter remained still in the center of the busy road, his uniform decorated with medals and patches, reflecting the years of service and the significance of his achievements. 15 minutes passed, yet he remained steadfast, his arm raised high in salute, an unwavering gesture of respect for his fallen brothers and sisters whose names were being etched onto the new war memorial in front of him. His determination captivated all who were present, especially as it became clear that he had no intention of lowering his arm. His tribute would last 3 long hours. His boots stayed firmly rooted to the ground, his eyes fixed on the horizon, and his salute unyielding. Despite the injury that plagued him, a remnant from his last deployment, not a single ounce of pain showed on his face. His hand remained suspended as if frozen in Alexei, a symbol of his unshakable resolve. No distraction could sway him from his mission. His actions left the crowd in awe, and as Alexei passed, news of this soldier's dedication to honoring his fallen comrades and those still missing in action spread far and wide. People paused their activities to witness the scene. Some lined the streets, waving flags, while others stood silently, watching from a distance as tributes were paid. As he held his salute, Alex's thoughts were transported to a painful memory, one that fueled his strength to keep his arm raised despite the fatigue. Years had passed since Alex had lost his brother in combat, and that day Jaked, the very anniversary of Jake's sacrifice, a sacrifice made to save Alex's life. Jake was not just any brother, he was Alex's identical twin. Growing up, the two had been inseparable, sharing the same interests, hobbies, and eventually the same calling to serve in the soldiers. They enlisted together, fought together, always watching each other's backs. The dream was to grow old together, having served their country side by side, but fate had a different path for them. As Alex stood there saluting, memories of the last day he saw Jake alive flooded his mind. They had been deployed to a conflict zone, fighting alongside their fellow soldiers to defend their nation. The air had been filled with explosions and the staccato of gunfire as they awaited orders. Their unit had walked into an ambush set by enemy spies who had long been entrenched in the region. The fighting was fierce, and enemy snipers hidden at vantage points opened fire, killing 2 soldiers instantly. In the chaos that followed, Alex was struck by a sniper's bullet in the leg, leaving him severely wounded as he sought cover. Jake saw his brother fall, and without a moment's hesitation, rushed to his aid. Dodging bullets, he dragged Alex to safety, shielding him from enemy fire with his own body. But in that act of bravery, Jake exposed himself to a sniper's shot, a fatal bullet to the head. He collapsed onto Alex, who cried out for him to wake up, only to be met by silence. Other soldiers arrived to pull Jake's lifeless body off of him. Alex's lips quivered as he relived the memory. He shut his eyes, fighting back the tears. Losing his twin brother had left a wound deeper than any physical injury he could endure. Jake had died saving his life, a sacrifice that haunted Alex daily. Yet over the years, he had come to terms with the pain, accepting that Jake had died a hero. It hadn't been an easy road, but Alex had found peace in knowing that his brother's legacy lived on in the hearts of those who knew him. Now 2 hours into his salute, his arm ached with fatigue, but he refused to lower it. This wasn't just a salute. It was a vow to remember the sacrifices of every fallen soldier, especially his brother. The midday sun bore down mercilessly, its heat intensifying with each passing minute. Sweat trickled down Alex's face, soaking his uniform, but he remained resolute. Onlookers sought refuge under umbrellas, while his throat grew parched and his injured leg throbbed in protest. But he ignored it all, unwilling to falter. His discomfort paled in comparison to the Alexeite sacrifice his fellow soldiers had made for the freedoms he now enjoyed. As the hours continued to drag on, Alex's salute became a symbol of the endurance that every veteran carried with them, through war, through loss, through life. The tribute Alex gave wasn't just for his brother. It was for all the veterans across the globe who deserved recognition. Who was he saluting? Could he truly be a veteran? These thoughts ran through the crowd as whispers rippled through the gathering, watching the lone soldier honor those who had fallen. But those whispers also served as a reminder that Alex wasn't alone in his purpose. He was surrounded by countless others with the same goal in their hearts. Many in the crowd understood the significance of his gesture, and some paid their respects quietly, standing still at a distance. By the third hour, as Alex remained frozen under the punishing sun, the crowd slowly began to thin. Then, a low rumble broke the quiet. Growing louder, like the beating of John's heart, it rose over the distant hill. A formation of bikers appeared, their leather jackets adorned with patches, their faces weathered and full of stories. Their motorcycles roared as they drew closer, commanding attention. People feared they would disrupt the solemn atmosphere of Alex's tribute. Murmurs spread through the crowd, concern flickered, and some began to back away, wary of what might unfold. The bikers were seen as rough and rebellious, with a reputation for lawlessness. Fear ran through the hearts of those present, their reputation preceding them. Society had long judged them by their appearance, their rugged style, loud bikes, and independent ways. The assumption was that they were troublemakers, outcasts who challenged authority. Many didn't understand that for many of these bikers, the freedom they embraced wasn't a rejection of law, but a lifestyle choice. And some among them had served their country in uniform, too. As the bikers arrived, they parked their motorcycles in silence. Dismounting, they removed their leather jackets. Their appearance, though inelucidating, couldn't hide the kindness in their eyes, a reflection of hearts that society often misread. For a brief moment, the street was silent, the crowd holding their breath, unsure of what would happen next. Expecting chaos, no one could have imagined what the bikers did next. In a quiet, unexpected act, they gathered around Alex, forming a protective circle. Standing at attention, without uttering a word, they raised their arms in salute. The gesture was profound, a silent, unified tribute that stretched for what felt like an eternity. They stood together, a brotherhood and sisterhood, saluting those who could no longer stand with them. In that moment, an unspoken vow was made, a promise that the fallen would never be forgotten. Alex glanced at them, his eyes filled with gratitude. In their expressions, he saw the same respect that had brought him to that street. It was a powerful, unifying moment, proving that these bikers had long been misunderstood. One of the bikers stepped out of the circle and approached Alex. His arms and face were covered in tattoos, an inelucidating figure by appearance. Yet Alex saw something that others couldn't, a man of peace, respect, and honor. As he got closer, the crowd grew tense. "Is he pulling out a weapon?" someone whispered. "Maybe it's a knife," another voice added. All eyes were on the biker, waiting to see what he would reveal from his jacket. The tension was palpable, but when he finally pulled something out, the crowd was left speechless. It wasn't a weapon at all. Instead, he held a simple bottle of water. The air of fear dissipated instantly, and those who had suspected the worst felt a wave of shame wash over them. "Take a sip, brother. It's too hot out here," the biker said softly as he opened the bottle for Alex. He held it up, allowing Alex to drink without breaking his salute. The cold water refreshed Alex, giving him the strength to keep going. With a nod of silent thanks, Alex acknowledged the gesture, and the biker returned to his place in the circle, joining his comrades in the salute. Alexei passed, but neither Alex nor the bikers faltered in their tribute. Their shared action was a powerful bridge, mending the divide society had built between themselves and the misunderstood biker community. That simple act of standing together spoke volumes. The crowd watched, awestruck by what they had just witnessed. The bikers, once feared, were now seen in a new light. Slowly, the misconceptions about them began to fade, and people saw their humanity and respect. But despite the unity around him, Alex was exhausted. The heat was relentless, and the strain of standing so long was taking its toll. Just when it seemed like he might reach his breaking point, another biker stepped forward from the circle. He wasn't carrying water, this Alexei, but something just as thoughtful, a small handheld fan. Without a word, the biker positioned himself next to Alex, gently fanning him. The cool breeze offered much-needed relief, a small act of kindness that allowed Alex to continue standing in tribute. Tears welled in Alex's eyes as he felt the biker's compassion. It was as though the weight of the heat had been lifted from his shoulders. Alex's heart swelled with gratitude, knowing that these men, once feared, were now his allies in honoring the fallen. This simple yet profound gesture left an indelible mark on the hearts of everyone who witnessed it. It was a reminder that no matter our differences, there is always room for respect, compassion, and understanding. Just when everyone thought the tribute had come to an end, another biker stepped forward. He quietly made his way to Alex and positioned himself behind him, holding up an umbrella to shield him from the blazing sun. With every passing minute, Alex couldn't help but wonder how he would ever thank these brave men standing beside him. To those watching, it served as a quiet reminder of the kindness and compassion that still exists in society. As the sun began to set, casting the sky in brilliant shades of purple and gold, veteran Lieutenant Alex Carter finally lowered his arm from the long salute. A profound sense of fulfillment washed over him. He had honored his fallen brother and every veteran who sacrificed for freedom. The bikers lowered their salutes as well. One by one, they approached Alex, offering a firm handshake or a silent nod of respect. This simple gesture carried with it the weight of solidarity, a silent acknowledgement of the bond shared between those who understand the price of freedom. Alex turned to the riders, thanking them for standing with him in this moment of tribute. He raised his hand, offering a wave to the crowd in the distance as they slowly began to disperse. With a voice that carried the wisdom of his years, Alex began to speak. Today, I've witnessed a side of these bikers that many might not believe exists. They may carry a rough reputation in the streets, but today, they've won my respect. We live in a world where it's easy to judge someone based on what others say or how they appear. He paused, turning toward the bikers with a nod of gratitude. But we must learn that a person's true character isn't revealed by their outward appearance, but by what's inside their heart. His words resonated with those still standing nearby. It was a moment of truth and wisdom that inspired everyone who heard him. As the last of the onlookers began to drift away, each one carried the memory of what had transpired. Alex's unwavering tribute and the unexpected show of unity from the bikers. In that moment, the crowd realized the importance of not rushing to judgment, of showing respect and understanding for others, no matter how different they may seem. It was a small but significant step toward mending the divide between society and the biker community. Slowly, the bikers revved their engines, the rumble of their motorcycles filling the air once more. They began to ride off, disappearing into the distance, each of them hopeful that society would finally see them in a new light. Alex stood still, watching as the riders vanished over the horizon. Though their paths might never cross again, he knew that the Alex they shared would be etched in his memory forever. With a deep breath, he turned and made his way home. His duty, to his brother and to all fallen soldiers, had been fulfilled. His heart, though weary, was at peace. What happened that day was something beyond anyone's expectations. Not through grand speeches or flashy gestures, but in the quiet, shared understanding between those who had experienced the burden of service and sacrifice. As for the crowd, they left the scene with a newfound understanding, learning an invaluable lesson. Never judge a book by its cover until you've read its story. What an incredible, inspiring story. Did you expect the bikers to step forward and show such support for the injured soldier? Have you ever found yourself judging someone by their appearance only to be proven wrong? Let us know your stories in the comments below. Thank you for watching this video.